Okay. Okay. Wait 1 second. I'm just pressing the play here. There we go. Now we're playing. I'm gonna skip the intros and formalities because hey, screw it. All right. Um, I'm elaborating off what I was on about. Was it last week I made a video? I think so. But I did a whole thing about talking and talking. I was talking about thinking. That's what I was doing. Um, and I found myself with another thing about thinking. Um, this all kind of came up because I was talking to my girlfriend's sister, and she said she was thinking just a lot, and how she was kind of in a paradox of like she was trying to fall asleep, and she knew that she couldn't think. She had to stop thinking, so she was thinking about trying to stop thinking so she could sleep, and then she was thinking about sleeping, and then she realized that's not how you sleep, and then she was kind of in the loop of how do you sleep, and then that was a thought, and that was not helping her sleep. So that was interesting. Um, and funny enough, I've had over the past few days. Sorry, I might be clicking there, but I apologize if you're getting a riddle diddle diddle. Oh, whoa. Okay, I can hear myself better now. All right. But basically, I've been waking up the past few mornings just kind of not just blank, like not knowing where I am or who I am entirely, and just fresh, kind of like waking up with a major hangover, but minus the hangover, it was just pure what? And what a light feeling, just nothing, just it was weird. I guess the best way I could put you into this is uh, ask yourself what will your next thought be. So ask yourself what will it be? Like that kind of silence added in with an emotional kind of clarity in a sense. And then I'd go back and lie down to sleep again. The next thing I know, I'd be having these short dreams, and all these dreams would come with like emotional baggage because I'd be intertwined in the story of what's going on, and it would just weigh me down, and I'd wake up kind of all in this turmoil from something that's not even actually happening. Um, so the contrast of those two things were fairly interesting, and I think at least where I'm at now, like peace is total just empty mindedness. Like when you see like TV shows or cartoons or movies, and you have like a group of kids or whatever, and there's always that dumb one, that goofy, that doofus, just the doofus. But he's never sad though. He's always smiling. He's always the smiley chappy, like doofus. Y'all want to go swimming? Michael, we've got to find Jamie's dog. He's been missing for like a month now, and you want to go swimming? Maybe the dog's gone swimming. Let's go for a swim. Jamie, you gotta get serious. You know what I mean? There's that kid who's just chilled. If you guys ever seen the Inbetweeners, the what's his name? Is it Neil? The tall, skinny doofus guy. English TV show. They remade it over in America, which was I was going to swear, but like I feel like I reach a larger audience if I don't swear, so I'm not gonna. But it's a load of it's terrible. Anyway, it was interesting. It was because it seems that usually the smartest one seems to be in the most distress or frustration, which is weird because you'd think like someone who has a good understanding of the world around them and possibly themselves, they'd be able to maintain themselves a bit better. But nah, it's always the doofus who's just empty-headed, nothing going on, just steam coming out of his ears. Just, you know what I mean? Um, and that was interesting. And I think we're kind of in confirmation of that these days, at least in the empty-headedness, not quite the doofusness. I think that's a different level of acceptance. I think Jordan Peterson says something like the the fool is the precursor to the savior. I'm gonna try and elaborate on that in a sec. I'll circle back to that by writing it down with the pen, which I do not have. Um, but yeah, so we're kind of in a space where we want to clear our thoughts, clear your mind, silence the mind. Da 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 da. See that? Working leadless pencil. Great. The fool is the precursor to the savior. So, anyway, yeah. So we want to empty our minds and and almost, in a sense, almost prevent thinking. We think that the thinking is generally your issue, or rather, the belief in your thoughts is the issue. But like you got to start somewhere. In the general case, the general starting point for most people is to stop thinking entirely. Which I mean, start somewhere. I think you have to try and do that before you realize you can't do that. But ain't gonna stop you from trying. You know, experience is the real teacher, I suppose. So, oh, it's right here. What am I doing? Pen was right in the book the whole time. Sorry, hold on. So the fool precursor, not quite like the cursor on the computer. Precursor to savior. I'm gonna try and. I think the best way to understand something is to re re re-express it in your own perspective. Because like I could take that now and that's Jordan Peterson's line. I could be like, that's something, and then you'd be like, explain it. You can't explain it unless you understand it. You need to elaborate in your perspective, which I will do in a short time. But I want to get back to the point that I'm trying to make, which is people try to prevent thinking. But okay, so they're trying to prevent the thinking, but why is it that they're thinking all the time in the first place? And my conclusion of this would be that people don't want to be bored. Boredom is a terrible thing. But personally, I find if you're thinking a lot of the time, you're never bored. You may be angry or frustrated or happy or ecstatic depending on what you're thinking, but you're never bored. And if you were to go sit down and meditate and clear your head, pretty boring the first few times, man. It's not fun. It's definitely not fun. So I guess thoughts are there to prevent boredom. People would rather be in. Well, it's easier to be in like a dramatic situation than to be just still. It's hard to be still. But yeah. So I think you gotta be okay with being still. Just be still, chill, still chill, willfully. Or just take a pill. But even if you take a pill, you're probably gonna be quite like manic up there in the brain, in the membrane. But so yeah, essentially you gotta be okay with being still and chill. And if you can do that, then you can get into the comfort zone. You can create a comfort zone in nothingness, I suppose, and that is so nice to adapt within yourself because that means you can always have this kind of refresh. You can always like start again, no matter what situation you're in or where how hectic things get. You can always have kind of that refresh, and you can reevaluate. I kind of look at it as the perspective room. It's kind of like the place behind all the windows, and then you realize, oh, I was stuck in a window. I can choose a different window. If you know what I mean. So yeah, I feel like I've got a lot of thoughts going on right now. They're all kind of jumping out at me, and they're all trying to take flight. But it's like hard to know which one is the best one to kind of follow down. I think maybe they're all trying to interlink in a certain way. No, let's learn to be okay. Yeah, it's like a superpower, man. Just being able to be okay with nothing. Because like if you don't have that stillness, kind of, yeah, if you don't commune with that stillness in you, you're you almost feel like you're trapped or you're stuck in whatever situation you're in, like, and that can be quite traumatic because it feels like there's a lack of escape, I suppose. So I guess that's why you go to drugs and alcohol and overeating or whatever escapism you use. But I guess meditation would be my escapism. But in a way, it kind of lets me kind of realign so that I can go into my situation fully. Because when a situation feels uncomfortable, you don't want to completely dive into it. You know, it's like freezing cold water. You don't quite want to do that. What the stepping back does is let you calm yourself down, reset, and that way you can fully jump in, you know, rather than kind of half step into the situation and be like, I don't wanna, but I know I gotta, but I don't wanna, but I know I gotta, you know. And then that thought pattern becomes like a character which you expose and share. But if you step back, you can kind of almost shift your character to someone who's more willing to dive in. I suppose. Or even another way you could look at it is that you kind of shed the first character and dive into the situation in order to be reborn into a new character. If you see what I mean. I always like the idea of surrendering to the moment. Dying to the moment, I suppose. I'm listening to Jason Silver a lot lately. But I just listened to a thing of his now, and he says that you've got to surrender, and to surrender is to die, and to die is to be reborn. So you have to be willing to die, but you have to let go of you, or at least who you think you are. You is a very different thing. You is like the creator of who you think you are. And who you think you are is not, it's, well, the ego, let's say. It's an interesting experience, and it's good to play with, but if you're ever like, it's dangerous when it gets sticky. And it's like, I like this guy, I want to stay with this dude. You know, and then you, excuse me, I'm about to right in your ear, man. It's a bit rude of me. So, yeah. So I like that. So, I guess this would be a meditation tip, I suppose. But again, you have to kind of experience this through meditation. I guess everyone's going to want to try and quiet their thoughts at first. They're going to try and stop them. But you'll find out sooner or later that does not quite work. And here's why. Your thoughts are like a riverbed. Or just a pond. Imagine just a pond just sitting there, or a bed of water. Now, the thoughts are like the ripples on the water. You trying to stop those ripples on the water is like you trying to stick your hand in and stop it. But all that does is create further ripples going out further and further. So by engaging with the thought, by trying to stop it, you're adding to it. You're adding to the fire, you know. Your own engagement is the gasoline to the fire of thought which is already burning. So, how do you best deal with a fire? Let's go back to the waterbed rather. How do you best deal with a disturbed waterbed? You just let it be, let it settle, let it chill, bro. Just let it go, let it burn out. If you actually had a fire, you'd probably put it out a different way. But in this case, let's just say let it burn out. It has to burn out eventually, you know? So just watch the thoughts, bro. Let the thoughts kind of just play their game and do it. And you'll find yourself kind of diving in and being like, oh, that's cool, you know? And that's okay. It's just a reminding yourself. It's like, oh, right, yeah, I'm not quite the thought. Right, let's just let that play. It's like, you know, like the thoughts are like the kids, and you want to go play with the kids. But then you see the kids start crying and get dramatic over the fact that their friend just stole their pirate ship. And then you realize, oh, wait, I'll be the adult quickly. There is no pirate ship. Why are you crying? You don't have a pirate ship! There's no pirate ship. But it's a pirate ship! No, there's no pirate ship. Don't worry about it. And then it's like, oh, right. You know, so it's good to engage. I was going to say wholeheartedly. Yeah, you should, I suppose, wholeheartedly, but always with the awareness of this is just a game, you know? So this is where seriousness is a dangerous thing. Because, like, you need a bit of it in order for the game to continue. To be able to battle and... We are the pirate kings, but I am the skeleton master, and I will take your ship. Wait, no, not my ship, not my ship! You know, there's no need to panic when you realize it's not quite as serious as you think. But you need the bit of seriousness in order to, like I said, continue the game. I'm looping and repeating myself, but maybe that's okay, because I'm still learning to talk cohesively. You know, this is more a benefit for me than it is for y'all, I suppose. And this may be a benefit from it. I don't know. I'm just doing it, bro. I'm just doing it. I think my big thing is I love interacting. The game of interaction is fascinating, because if done like willingly, playfully, you can create some incredible moments and life-changing moments between people just by the right kind of back and forth. You know, a good game of how are you? The game of how are you? The game of hello and goodbye. I love that game, but I was never good at it when I was younger. I was terrible at that. Mainly because I wasn't willing to discover who I was. And every time you talk to someone, you discover who you are. In that moment, so to speak. And that's scary for some, because if they meet someone they're not used to talking, they're used to. Bleh, if they're talking to someone they're not used to talking to, certain type of character, it can be scary for them, because it means they might have to be willing to adapt their character a bit in order to engage. Same as the other person. You gotta, every new person you meet kind of opens up a new door of possibility. And that can be scary, because it's clumsy at first, I suppose. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you get those rare moments where it's like, whoa, that was just slick and smooth, bro. Slick and smooth. But that doesn't always happen. It's so rare. It's such a rare thing to have like a cohesive conversation. Just like it's too common that it's all awkward. Yet we treat awkward situations as if like like code red territory, But it's the most common thing. Yeah, it's the most feared thing. Awkwardness. awkwardness should be like celebrated in a way. And the more you kind of lean into the awkward nature of what's going on, the more you can kind of twist it and turn it. You know, you're a wizard of energy. You can switch the energy. You can change it. You know, you can't get rid of it. If the awkwardness is there, it's there. But like, you either run or you engage. You know, and you can run, but then you'll probably take that situation with you. It's like, oh, that was awful. That was so awful. Was it me? Was it me? Or was it him? Who was it? Sorry, I'm a bit loud there again. But who was it? And then you'll probably end up criticizing yourself because people care more about themselves than they do other people, unless they like blaming other people. Depends who you are, I suppose. But yeah, like lean into the awkwardness. It's a interesting energy. It's not comfortable, but within discomfort, you can create or you can discover something fascinating. You know, it's like, hi, I'm Bill. Hi, I'm Bill. No, you're Bill too. No, sorry, I heard your name and well, sorry, bro. So that's okay. You can be Bill as well if you want to be a Bill. No, it's okay. My name's Jeremy, actually. Jeremy, that's my sister's name. Your name, that's weird. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, Jeremy and Jeremy. Imagine you dated. Imagine I dated your sister. It would be Jeremy and Jeremy. Excuse me. You want to date my sister? I'm just saying as a joke. No, sorry, you can't date my sister. No, I just mean as a joke. Like, that would be weird, right? Jeremy, the Jeremys. I'm just playing with you, right? You can date my sister. No, I don't want to date your sister. It's alright. I just, you know. I think, yeah, going into awkwardness with facetiousness, but silliness. Awkwardness is silly. Don't be serious about awkwardness because then it's like wrong. There's no wrong, you know. It's just strange because people are strange when you're a stranger. People are lovely any which way. People are strange when you're a stranger. People are lovely any which way. I don't really know any of the lyrics. Don't really know how I get down to it. So yeah, that's what I'm about communication and talking, because it's creative. It's art. Communication is art, man. And I love a good bit of communication. But there's a to and fro, you know. I think I like this because I can kind of see what I can do, and I push my potential. But it also makes me aware that I have to bounce off other people as well. I guess I'm bouncing off myself first to kind of see what my boundaries are, and then see where they're at, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, alright, boundary, what's the deal, bro? And then I either see if I have to go underneath it, if I have to go over it, if I have to go around it, if I have to, how do I deal with this barrier? Can I transform this barrier? Can I step inside it and comes like a suit of armor and it's like, rah! Barrier man, barrier breaker. Then I can make this giant like robot suit out of barriers, and then like, yo, no I'm messing with barrier man. Barrier man, you confront me, confronting your barriers, bruh. You want to confront your barriers? Cool. Join me in the journey, in the quest of barrier breaking. I love barrier breaking. I love pushing the extent of what I think I can do, because I'm capable of so much. I didn't even know half of it. You know what I mean? You don't even know half of it. So yeah, that's what I like to do. Uh, obsess to progress, as they say. But I think the thing that I fall into is that I think I the thing I use as an excuse is um, if this is right for me or not. So I'll do something, maybe enjoy it, or maybe I don't. It doesn't go too well, and then I'll think it through and be like, "But do I want this?" And I think it's an important question to ask for sure. But I think it's almost like, maybe I do want it, but it didn't go that well. So it's like, is it worth it? Another thing Jordan Peterson says, which he might have got from somewhere else, I don't know, but I heard it from him, so I'm going to quote him, is that, you got to pick your damn sacrifice and make it. Everything you do has a sacrifice. So what are you willing to sacrifice in order to get what you want? Well, look at what you want and see what you have to sacrifice in order to get it, and then ask yourself, is the sacrifice worth it? So if I was going to go personal, I don't know. I still don't know what I want really. I wanna express. That's for damn sure. I love to just wiggle, wiggle, do the wiggle, wiggle. You know. And having a platform to do that is great. So this is one. I like doing music. I like writing. I like thinking. I like understanding. I like understanding the depth of myself and then sharing that with other people through any form that I can. Whether it's music, whether it's dancing, whether it's anything artistic, I suppose. Writing's artistic, right? Poetry, storytelling. Just any way I can. Like, but that's my main thing. The number one is going deeper. Deeper. I'd love to be a scuba diver, but I have an ear problem. Like, I can only go so deep before like I get this rage and pain in my ear. I do the whole nose blow thing, but I only pop the one ear, and the other one just hurts like hell. I think I had grommets when I was younger, and I just can't. It just hurts, man. And I already have tinnitus. I already have that, so I don't want to push that any further. But it sucks because I love the underwater world. It's pretty dope. Yeah, I think the worst way to die would be drowning, and hate that. So that's a bit of an oxymoron, isn't it? But it's good to be the moron. You know what I mean? You gotta be happy and joyful and jolly. Happy and joyful and jolly. Yeah, the jester. The jester is. He's just like whatever, man. You know what I mean? It's cool to be a. I think this is it as well. You're basically a performer, but I'm always nervous that my intentions for being a performer are skew. Like, I wouldn't want to be a performer just to kind of show myself off. Because, like, who am I to show me off? Like, what am I? But just you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a particular character that needs to prove itself real. Because anything that I try and prove real can instantly just be taken away. It goes, you know? Like, I'm the dude with long hair. Tomorrow I shave it off and it's like, where's the dude with long hair? It's like, it's me. Nah, bro. I'm talking about the dude with long hair. No, it's me. That was me. I just cut my hair. No, bro. He had long hair. You do not. Get out of here. So, yeah, you don't gotta do anything. Don't listen to that. But, yeah, it's. So, what are my intents for wanting to perform, I suppose, or express? Didn't I just cover that? The depth of myself, to understand something new. I guess I'd like to make a discovery. that could change the world? I suppose. Like Dylan would love to. Dylan would love to be the one to be like, Epiphany. We can all be happy. You just have to give up being happy. Remember when we weren't happy? Thank God for Dylan. He saved us from our suffering. You know? But that's Dylan. And Dylan's gonna die anyway. I forget about Dylan every now and again, you know. And then Dylan comes back. It's like, oh yeah, I need. Oh wait, no, that's someone else, you know. I don't really need anything. What I need is to do what I want to do. That's it. That's the only reason why I would do anything, is because I want to do it. I don't think you need much more incentive than that. Anything else is just a bonus, you know, like you're helping people. That's great. I think we live to serve. Whether that's true or not is... Well, yeah, I suppose. I guess everything does, doesn't it? Like, every inhabitant of the earth works to kind of support itself. It's a self-fulfilling self like an ice cream. Everything that happens is to support itself. Like the bees exist to pollinate the flowers, and the flowers then give oxygen to the earth, and then the oxygen then goes to us, and then we create carbon dioxide, which then goes back to the plants, and then, like, you know, everything has a purpose. I think as a human race we're a bit confused because we don't know what our purpose is, and the closest I've got is to serve, which again, looping back, is what everything is to do. But it's like, how do you best serve? Now, it's weird how most, especially insects, they're weird, bro. They just instinctively know what to do, and they just go. How? Probably just doing it all selfishly, you know. They're just trying to keep their tribe alive. So, how can you best serve? Well, this is a weird question because we're very individualistic, or at least in the Western world, we're very individualistic. So it's like, what can you personally do? What do you have to offer to support the crew? The crew being your species plus the earth. I don't know about, I don't know, supporting our species. We're supporting a pretty messed up species if we're supporting ourselves, are we not? But then we're also supporting a creative, incredible species. It's like we're investing in potential when we support our crew, because like we're a bit, we're not all there. Or we're too there, so we're distracted about what's necessary. Know what I mean? Like, we're just too lost in our own imaginations. Like, imaginations is crazy, bro. Like, you can think something that isn't, and you act upon that reality. And if you're acting on that reality, you're acting in a way which is just pointless and of no service whatsoever. However, if you are based in reality, which I think all animals are, because they don't, well, from what I can tell, their imagination, they don't really have the imagination that we do. They then work with what they have and where they are, and then they progress in that kind of way. We work from a very different paradigm. The paradigm being whatever the heck you want. And therefore just kind of really making a mess of things. It's weird how it's like, it's so amazing that we can all live in our own paradigm. Like, we can live in our own worlds and create a box in the universe as we want it. You know, I can put drapes on the walls and make it look like this and put flowers in, and it's awesome. And then someone else can have like a friggin' dungeon that they live in with skulls plastered everywhere, with skin just turned into a carpet and friggin' hair that they burn as incense from the people they abducted and murdered. Like, you can do whatever you want. And that's crazy cool. Not quite the murdering part, I suppose. I wouldn't personally go for that. I mean, but like, you can like do whatever you want, which is crazy. Although people would argue not that you should. Well, I guess this is my argument, is that if we all lived in the same paradigm, would it be easier? But then this is like a socialist type of view. Socialism, like the Eastern world, like in countries in like I'll go with that, like China and countries kind of in that area, maybe Japan as well. No, Japan's pretty open and creative. They're quite diverse, I think. But countries that kind of work to support its own community, like everything they do is for the benefit of all. Whereas with the Western side, it's individual, so everything you do is for the benefit of just you, you know. And I find this a really interesting debate because I think in the Eastern side, like, communities are so much bigger, and I mainly because they have less. Well, no, not because they have less, but you know, it seems anything that they have, they offer to their neighbors. Like, even if they have nothing and they have like a house with like one bedroom and like they have 12 kids, the whole thing is like, or at least in India, it's like guest is God. So you could go over there, you know. Meanwhile, you have a mansion back home waiting for you with your 8 Ferraris. Why you have 8, I don't know. It's the same frickin' car, but people do that. And you'd go over there to someone who has literally a box for a house with one bedroom, and he'd have a pregnant wife, and he'd be like, please take our bed, take our marital bed. No, I don't want to do. No, please. Sorry, I'm talking earlier. Guest is God, and that's crazy. You know, they have nothing, and they still give everything they have. But because of that, communities are so strong, and you know, levels of happiness are really high, even though you'd look at the state of the place and you wouldn't really think much about it. But yet they're mad happy. And then you see over here, we don't even know our friggin'. Well, I don't know my neighbors. Who's next door? I don't know. Well, I'm going to be fair to myself. No one lives next door. Someone does live there. I know the rabbit and the cat that comes to my window. It's easy to get along with animals because they don't talk back. Probably why I like doing this podcast, because no one talks back, bro. So much easier. But it's crazy. Like, we have all this stuff. I had a different point to this because we're individual side society. Yeah. So basically, is it better to live in a shared paradigm? Because the shared paradigm is real, and it's like, oh, these are real people around me, and they really need my help, so I'm going to help them, you know. And then what you find is that the community becomes so supportive of one another that you have no need to worry about much, because you know your neighbor will be there for you. Whereas in our side of the world, it's so all for themselves. You know, so it's like, I have to fuel myself with all the cash and frickin' thing I can, because if I don't, who will? Who's gonna support me? Nobody. I'm on my own. I've got to do it all myself. It would be so much easier if you could just rely on your neighbor to, like, I'm out of bread, man, and I'm broke, and I've had to pay for college tuition and all this, and I have nothing. It's like, oh, don't even worry. Come over for roast dinner. Have food with us and the kids and everything. Don't even sweat, man. You know, life would be so much easier. But we don't have that. We don't care about our neighbors. That's why there's flipping homeless people everywhere. So a shared paradigm seems to make a bit more sense. But then, do we lose creativity out of that? I don't think so necessarily. I guess you could argue that you're a product of your environment. So if you're in your community pretty tightly knit, then you're kind of replicating everyone around you. I mean, is there even individuality? Like, we're just kind of copying what we see from other people, you know? It's like there's all these small communities, but they're distant, but we can connect to them through the internet. So it's like I'm dressed like friggin' hippie doodah because I watch like flippin' Muji on the internet. Muji's like a guru, what is he, a spiritualist guru or something like that? He's a interesting guy. He's just simple, just nothing. Put it all at the door and just be empty. That's what it is. You can pick it up later if you really want it, but do you really want it? Your stress and your troubles, up to you. So yeah, I think like there's just communities everywhere that just kind of far reach. So I don't know. So is there uniqueness? Nah, I don't think it's uniqueness. It's just contained chaos. It's like, oh, that's different and mad. Let's give that a try. Like, and then it's kind of ordered down and chiseled, and then it's kind of refined, and then this is a new thing. But it's not. It's kind of the same shit that's always been there, and now it's just like we're revamping it. You know, like you don't even have to do much. You just let it, whatever it is, go out into the chaos of the world, and then you pick it up and like, I've got a freaking toilet as a hat and banana shoes and a dress made out of bin bags that are recyclable. You know what I mean? Have you seen these freaking fashion shows these days? They are mental. Who would wear half this stuff? Like, it's just not practical. You're pretty much doing it just to stand out and kind of show off a bit. Like, look at that guy. He's so amazing, so brave. Wow, I guess it's brave. It's not easy to kind of just wear whatever in front of people. Therefore, you should do it, because then it's a barrier broken, bruh. Got yourself a shield. So, yeah. That's what I think. Debate. What would I rather be? Would I rather be in community, or would I rather be individual? You know what I think is that communities are important. What I do think is just as important is interchangeability within those communities. I think there should be tons of communities, and then every few years you got no choice but you got to move to the next one and try it out and see what that's like, and then move, and then, you know, like imagine we opened up all the borders all around the world, all the borders. I don't know if I said that correctly. And instead of preventing certain people to come in because you want to keep your community as it is, just allow people to come and go. You know what I mean? I think it should be mandatory. If we really want to grow as a species, go beyond our potential, we need to let go of our roots, I suppose. Do we? I guess this is the debate of culture. Culture. What do you think about culture? I think culture prevents us from going forward, to be honest. Like history, like, let go, bro. I think it's important to know, but I think if you're still living as if the history was still of today, and if it had as much importance, I think you're restricting new possibilities. It's my personal belief on that. But then again, that's just a belief. Like, what is a belief? But just, yeah, that's right, you know. Could easily be wrong. But yeah, like I'm all for moving forward, man. Culture and all, it's just holding you back. Like, we've been there, done that, kind of, you know what I mean? So it's like, cool, it has some relevance, or has something to teach you, and take the teachings, but don't live as if like the 18th century should still be a thing, you know? Because it shouldn't. There was a lot of weird shit that went on down there. Slavery of people. I'm probably biased because I don't know much about history. Or I just don't care, man. Well, no, I should care. Well, no, I don't. I don't care. I probably should care, but I don't care. I just like it's. I'll learn certain things. No, I mean, I like scriptures. I like philosophies, and that's that's history. So, you know, philosophies kind of built certain civilizations were built on certain philosophies and ways of being, and so yeah, no, history is important. I need to learn a bit more. Admittedly, I'm not perfect. Nice. What do I know? Not much. But I like to talk about things. I like to figure things out, I suppose. See, I'd like to make shorter videos because this is like almost an hour once again. But like, yeah, no, I should make it a bit more accessible. I should. Yes, you should. Nah, I do it or I don't do it. We'll find out if I do or if I don't. And it's you, not it. I say some weird stuff in here sometimes. Anyway, I'm gonna plug myself a little bit here. This is a YouTube channel. If you are watching on the YouTube channel, called Ourselves by Dylan Hales. Ourself, sorry, not selves. Maybe I should put it to selves. Ourselves. Ourselves, yeah, because there's more than one self. Ourself. Depends what I want to point at, I suppose. Yeah, this is on YouTube. You can also find it on loads of different podcasting platforms, even Spotify, which is mainly for music, but hey, you can do podcasts on there now. I'm also on Apple Podcasts and such and such and such, and yeah, this is me, just chatting away, talking about things. Man, I'm crazy unorganized, but like, again, you gotta start somewhere, and you gotta figure some things out, and this is me figuring it out. I like doing this. It's fun. But I'm so friggin'... I'm everywhere. I'm all over the flipping show. Like, I wouldn't even know what to name this podcast right now. Just podcast. Like, I don't know. I talked about so much stuff, bro. Thinking. I talked about societies, whether they're individualistic or socialized, or very unsocialized as a society, just putting that in there as well. Like, there's so much. I said a few tips about meditation. This is me just practicing, see if my memory's still good. If not, it's using the muscles in it. So yeah, this is me, man. But not for long, because then I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to be a whole different person, probably. Maybe similar. Depends what kind of cult I'm in. Maybe I'll watch a friggin'... You know what I'm watching lately? Jake Gyllenhaal, bro. What a man. I'm part of that cult now. I'm going to be a Jakey. I'm going to cut my hair, slick it back, put a friggin' fishbowl on my head, wear a cape. Jake Gyllenhaal, bro. I like the way he's very passionate about acting, and the way he kind of develops into characters and how he stretches characters out. It's very interesting because it makes me think about, like, that's personalities basically. Are personalities a set thing? Oh, this is a question I need to ask next. Is it a set thing? You know what I didn't get to? The fool is a precursor to the savior. I'm going to do that in my next video. How'd you like that, bruh? Next one, if you want to know about that, I'll put it in the next one instead. Instead. So yeah, cheers. Thanks for watching this one, I suppose. And man, you know what? I feel silly doing this, but that's great because like silly is like where you want to be at, isn't it? Anyway, I'm logging. I'm going off now. I'm going off, and there's gonna be a video probably straight after this, which you can watch. So if you want to watch it, just let me know if you want to watch it, and I'm gonna put it on. See you later. Bye.